Hello everybody. The other day I did a video on what I do with my bikes during the winter while I store them. I keep on the battery tender. Thought I'd run through it on this bike here. I keep them on the battery tender. My bike stay inside. Still on the battery tender. Then I'm not going to crank it, do this, but what I do is like I crank it, have it running, let it get to operating temperature, get some heat in the heads, not just the pipes, but the heads. Pipes get hot in 5 seconds. Heads usually take about 10 minutes on these air-cooled V-twins. If you get heat in the heads, you get all the moisture. Right? You get all the moisture out of the system. Out of the oil condensation. I leave my dirty oil in when I get done riding in the season. Then I change it in the spring before I start riding. Change all 3 fluids in the spring before I start riding to get condensation out of it. Now, I will ride it with a little bit of the dirty oil in it before I change it to get the transmission and primary condensation moving around to get out of them too. Then drain all the fluids at one time. And the bike's lukewarm, don't burn yourself, but it tells you that church manual. But if this thing was sitting here running right now, which I had to crank the other day, I would pull my clutch in, I would work my clutch, right? And as it's running, I do my brakes. I do both my brakes as it's running, right? That keeps the fluid circulating. It keeps your master cylinders from sticking. And also, let's see if we can get this bad boy to do something here. Yeah, there she goes. And also, I turn my flashers on, right? I let both of them flash. Signals, flashers. I check all that. I do my high beam. I blow my horn. I do all that stuff while the bike's running, okay? That way, if I crank it, you won't be able to hear me. That's why I do it. But that way, you keep all your electrical fresh. I like to call it keeping your electrical fresh. But anyway, Blinky here, he's scared of his own shadow. It's so long system on it. But anyway, that's what I do to my bikes while they're sitting. Now, if you can get out and ride it, I'm sorry I haven't looked at my belly. I just had surgery to help me get down here. But if you can get out and ride it, that's all the better. And if you can sit on it and pull the clutch in and bang it in gear, just ease the clutch out, that's great too if you can do that. It's hard to do, snow, weather, whatever. But anyway, that will at least keep the fluids moving in it, keep your brake calipers from sticking, and your master cylinders from sticking. You just do that while it's running. Time to get all done, it's been about 10 minutes. And just let the bike cycle. Let it cycle through. And that way that everything's fresh. And usually I don't have any problem on startup in the springtime. Like I said, I will run this dirty oil for just a couple miles. Sure, not that dirty. I don't never run the maximum miles. I always change mine out every year. I don't care what the miles are on all my bikes. But anyway, I run the dirty oil and get the bike warm. I ride to work back, 10, 15 minutes. And then I change all the fluids in it while they're warm, because that way it gets condensation out of the cases too, your transmission case and your primary. But that's how I service mine every year. That's what I do. I crank mine in the wintertime at least once a month, at least. Go through all of them, crank them, same thing every time. I try to crank them at least once a month. I can't get them out and ride them a lot of times because of the weather and whatnot, and I've had surgery now, so I sure can't do anything. But that's how I keep mine fresh. Seems to work for me. If you know something better, that's great, but that works for me. Like I said, make sure the heads get hot, not just exhaust pipes. Exhaust pipes get hot in 5 seconds, but the heads, if the heads get warm, that means the oil's circulating. And you circulate oil. You can check the oil tank too if you can get to it. This new stuff, you can't even get to it there. But make sure the oil is warm, because the oil is warm, you'll get the condensation out of it. Because if you don't, and you crank it and you run it, you build more condensation, right? You follow me? So that's what I do. Hope it helps. Everybody have a great Valentine's Day tomorrow, and get these things ready. It's gonna be riding time for long. See ya.